That moment of like cutting up your college eligibility, walking away, like burning those bridges. Were you stressed out at all?
No, not really at all. Whenever I cut my eligibility, I visually remember seeing a quote in my head of once you know what you want to do with your life, you can't wait for it to start. And I knew exactly that this was my calling.
Welcome to the Banana Breakdown Podcast. Whether it's player interviews, weekly breakdowns of the games, or post-game live streams, we love to talk about all things Banana Ball. Today we had Fisher Polydoroff on the podcast, also known as Old Knuckles. You may have seen him play on the Visitors this year and noticed him on the mound in moments just like this.
The knuckleballer! Big wine! Oh-ho-ho!
And he also sings a lot of songs and produced the music video, which you can see right here.
The visiting team heard round the nation.
And so much more. We had an incredible time talking to him. In this interview, we get the background on Fisher's decision to leave college and come to Banana Ball at the age of 19. We talk about the instruments he can play, the languages he can speak, and we see the impact he made on the Visitors team. So with all of that, we'd like to introduce you to Old Knuckles right now on the podcast.
Well, hey Fisher, welcome to the show.
Salutations, old sport. How's it going?
It's going good.
Doing fine and dandy?
Yes, we are.
Likewise over here, you betcha. Boy, I'm jumping for joy to be on the show this fine evening. I've heard a lot about you cats, seen all them interviews that you've been doing on the Banana Ball players, and I have to say I'm impressed. So I had to see if you guys were the real deal.
We appreciate that coming from a time traveler from, what is it? Is it 1959 you came from?
1959, yeah, born in 41.
Oh, there we go. So Old Knuckles, you're 19 and you are the youngest player in Banana Ball. How did all of that happen?
So basically, I was playing collegiate ball. So I time traveled to 59, say, and I was playing collegiate ball. I got here in the winter of 24. I played collegiate ball at Weatherford College, and then I heard about the Savannah Bananas, and I knew I had to jump ship from a regular old ball because the yellow one was just too appealing, pun intended. But yeah, so I went to a tryout in Kansas City. I was dressed up in a 1950s uniform. I believe it was an old uniform from the Brooklyn Bums, 1934, led by future Hall of Famer Stinky O'Pinky. He was one of my father's favorites that played for the Bums. But anyhow, I went to the tryout, and boy, it was the cat's pajamas. I'll say that much. I killed it. I aced it. I found out I was the second only unanimous selection from a tryout. So Old Knuckles made his integration to Banana Land, hopped off at the Savannah station, and after all the accumulation of the events, it was a sensation.
That's incredible. We're glad that you made it through the tryouts and seeing you on the Visitors. What was that experience like playing for the Visitors against in just a couple games this season?
Oh boy, it was swell. Some of my finest ball players, some of the finest batsmen I ever saw play for that team. I still miss them to this day. But yeah, no, we'll be back. I have faith in the Bananas organization that most of us will be back. We don't know yet. We won't find out for the next world tour for a couple months now. But us boys will be waiting by the phone. A visiting team heard around the nation. It was a blast. Those guys, man, they're fine sportsmen of high class. I'll say that much. It's a good group of guys. Staying in Savannah for 6 weeks, we all bonded as a team. Our first practice, we played wiffle ball on the beach. It made me feel like a kid again, hitting bottle caps with broomsticks in the back of the Brooklyn alleys as a kid growing up in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, no, it was a good time. We sure had a ball.
It's good. Glad to hear that. How was adjusting to Banana Ball? You know, you grow up playing baseball, the America's pastime, and how was the adjustment to Banana Ball?
It's funny you say that. I'm actually writing a song right now called America's Pastime, talking about 1920s baseball, back when my father played, watching Lou Gehrig and Ty Cobb on the back end of his career, all those guys, Dazzy Vance, Lefty Grove. But yeah, no, baseball's as tried and true as, peanut butter and jelly. You can't go wrong. And I think what the Bananas have done, it's kind of like, you ever tried one of those Elvis Witch, peanut butter, jelly, and banana with honey? It's kind of what the Bananas have been doing. They've added a twist to the classic PB&J and they made it into something spectacular. So I'm really blessed to be a part of the Banana Ball. I had a blast in the summer, and yeah, no, the Banana Ball rules, man, they're entertaining. It keeps people locked in on the field, eyes are glued to the batsman, to the pitcher. And that's just my job, man. Anytime a kid turns on the TV, I want them to stay fixated on old Knuckles doing his wind up or having a bag of suitcase with the tricks in it. So yeah, no, it's a delight to kind of get familiarized with this new ravishing game that's taken over the nation. Someday it'll take over the world. Who knows?
We believe it.
Definitely. So a lot of what we've seen is you being on the mound, but you also play other positions. What's that like being able to go back and forth?
Yeah, so I was taught by Rogers Hornsby with the St. Louis Browns, later Cardinals legend. He was my batting instructor. He used to golf with a fellow of mine named Checkers Bagsby, 7-time PGA Tour champion. And yeah, Rogers Hornsby taught me how to hit. He taught me how to field, and I've used those mechanics with the tricky plays that we do out there on a ball field. And it's been it was a blast down in Savannah. Savannah don't got the same elevation as Brooklyn, but it ain't too shabby. I held my own.
Perfect. Yeah, no, we heard about some of your college days and playing mostly third base, but then getting put in the 10th inning, and how you kind of tricked some of the players with your knuckleball. Like how was that experience?
Yeah, no, that experience is really cool. I was I'm breaking character right here. Um, yeah, no, that experience was really cool. I loved Weatherford College. It was a blast. And just like I said, as old Knuckles goes, old Knuckles loves to have fun on the baseball field. And regular baseball, if I were to continue my college career, would it wouldn't have been as fun as the next 3 or 4 years could be with the Savannah Bananas organization. So I'm super excited. The skies are looking bright. The coast is clear. Everything is exactly where I want it to be. And the Bananas have done. They did a great job of welcoming into Savannah with open arms, and I just felt really, really well received from the organization as a whole.
I'm sure yeah, it was incredible to watch you play in those couple games, and especially the knuckleball. Like, can you give us some background on that and how you learned that and where that came from?
Yeah, so I started throwing the knuckleball whenever I was about 8 or 9 years old. I learned it from R.A. Dickey. um, the reason why we're laughing is because I just broke character. I'll go back and forth. I like doing that as old Knuckles.
Yeah, go for it.
It's like old Knuckles kind of takes over me.
Yeah.
You know? Like Black Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Venom. But yeah, so I started throwing the knuckleball whenever I was about 8 or 9 years old. I got the chance to learn it from R.A. Dickey. My dad used to work for the Dickies, the jean company, and they had three major leaguers at the time: Yasmani Grandal, Jose Altuve, and R.A. Dickey. So I went down to spring training in 2014. I met R.A. Dickey. He was a super nice guy, and I kind of fell in love with the obscurity of the knuckleball and the perplexity, the way that it can discombobulate batters left and right with nothing but physics and a 60-mile-an-hour throw. So I started throwing it, and I threw it all the way up in summer ball. And I was kind of a summer ball demon, throwing knuckleballs left and right and striking kids out, making them cry home to their mommies and whatnot. But I never got the chance to pitch in high school, actually. I went to a 6A, really competitive, super highly touted high school, and I was starting on varsity my freshman year. So ever since whenever I entered high school, I never really got the opportunity to pitch because they're like, we don't want you getting hurt on the mound. You got a job to do at third, second, or the outfield. So I had a really good high school career, a couple school records, and hitting. And hit some absolute bombs and whatnot. And then in college, I committed to I had a couple D1 offers out of high school, Pepperdine, Tulane, Northwestern, and I was really high academic, so like very, very high tuition. And I turned them down to go JUCO because there's the number one JUCO in the nation was 45 minutes away from my house in Weatherford. So I went to Weatherford and I spent a year there. Absolutely loved the culture, the coaches. They had a really good thing going, and I didn't get to play as much because we had an absolutely stacked infield, returning third baseman, shortstop, and second baseman. All of them were all conference. just really good guys too. So didn't play the first month and a half of the season. And whenever I wasn't playing, this was the first time coming out of high school. As I think I was ranked number 34 in Texas my senior year, of all Texas high school players. So I'd never been used to sitting on the bench before. And about a month and a half into the season, our second baseman has a leg injury, and I come in. I think I go like 10 for 21 with 3 home runs, like 12 RBIs. It was insane. Like I'd been doing my thing in inter squads and whatnot, but got that chance to shine, and I just took it and ran. And then our second baseman healed up, and I was out of the lineup for the rest of the year. Part of my story, the more interesting one, way more interesting to you guys, is how the Savannah Bananas started clicking in my head. Of man, a 19-year-old just turned 19 in October, and I want to say it was maybe mid-March, probably a month into the season. I wasn't playing. I was really just like confusing time in my life, because I was like, wow, like what can I do to get out of this? So I started thinking about all the things that I've been doing off the field as Fisher Polydoroff, as myself, singing. I have over 500,000 lifetime streams on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you listen to music, and I've been singing since sophomore year of high school, for people, Christmas music. And I'm on a quest to make a music genre, a song in every single music genre out there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, my first hit was Christmas Time in Jamaica, a reggae Christmas song, and they actually played it in the loudspeakers of my high school, my sophomore year. So, yeah, I wanted to integrate, like, I wanted to combine the baseball side of me with the instruments. I play 7 different instruments. Probably closer to like 15 with the different variations and weird knickknacks that I have. Like with me, you guys are rested on a diatonic harmonica.
There we go.
Wow.
Let's correct this open.
Live.
Yeah, like I hope this doesn't blow out your audio. But anyway, I play a lot of instruments. I just got this diatonic harmonica, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy for sure. But anyway, so yeah, I decided that I wanted to be a Savannah Banana. I wrote a song, I wrote a music video, I produced a music video entirely. I had 2 videographers come out and shoot it for me, and it turned out absolutely amazing. I heard reviews that it was one of their favorites of all time. Some people said it was the pinnacle of Banana Ball, like, tryout intros.
Well, I will say from my end, I have that song stuck in my head on the regular. So every time I hear it, it's like, oh, well, now it's going to be stuck in my head for another week.
Wait, which one?
The visiting team heard round.
No, this is a different one.
Okay.
This one actually I haven't posted. It's
Oh,
gonna be like a secret ball type of music video. But I'll be teasing it throughout the next, like, probably couple months. I think I might release it whenever I hit like 20K on Instagram. That might be my number. Just because I know it has the potential to, like, really blow up, even if I'm not on the Bananas. But it was me in a yellow suit, dressed up, swinging a bat, like doing trick plays, playing 10 different instruments out on the field. And it was a spectacle. It was a marvel. I have to send the video to you guys after this.
Yeah.
And you guys can watch it and then, like, tease a little bit of it in the video. That'd be really cool. But yeah, it's in the secret vault where or not even it's even safer than Fort Knox.
That's where you got to keep a music video like that.
No, seriously, I have a couple in the bank actually that are one of them is called Cracker Jacks and the Crack of the Bat. It's a story about how young Fisher Polydoroff grew up playing baseball in the 50s, and it features like a bunch of, like, my old-timey stances where I'm imitating, like, Joe DiMaggio, Ralph Kiner, Ted Williams, Stan Musial. So, like, those guys from the late 40s to early 50s. Yeah. When Old Knuckles was growing up, say, in Brooklyn, 1951, he would have been a 10-year-old watching Willie Mays out there for the New York Giants.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of that, like, watching Willie Mays, I mean, a little bit ago we saw Drew Gillespie pull a Willie Mays catch out in showdown. So we're seeing. Yeah,
I saw that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I wonder if that was in tribute to Willie Mays. I wonder if Drew actually knows who Willie Mays is. I'm sure he does.
Got to.
He's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy.
Yeah, so I mean you mentioned all of like the instruments. I've heard it's like a crazy number. Like what's the number of instruments you know how to play?
Um, I could count them. The saxophone, so I play three different saxophones: the tenor, alto, and soprano. I own all of those. I play a B flat and an E flat clarinet. I was playing the B flat earlier today, recording a 1940s post wartime song. Anyways,
Of
I play the
course.
flute. I play the flute. I play the DZ flute, which is like that Chinese variation, the one from like it sounds like an ancient China, like kind of serenade, like an ancient flute. And it uses a sort of reed paper to cover up one of the holes to make it sound, very, very, very complex. But anyways, I play seven different keys of harmonica. I just got that diatonic harmonica, which is completely different than any other real harmonica, or basic. But I play the bagpipes. I play the didgeridoo. I'm not a bad trumpet player. Brass isn't my specialty. I'm a woodwinds guy. I play my guitar is pretty good. I know how to play a lot of chord and progressions for especially 50s doo-wop music because that's what I specialize in. Um, but yeah, the pan flute as well. A lot of different instruments.
It's incredible. And you sing. So,
Yes, yes, I do sing.
Yeah. So you know all these instruments, but you also know multiple languages. So what's the story there? How did you learn? How did you learn Portuguese and Spanish? What's the story there?
Yeah, so basically I started speaking Portuguese. I started learning to speak Portuguese. I didn't just get hit in the head with a baseball and start speaking Portuguese.
That would be a great story.
Yeah, so I started learning to speak Portuguese whenever I was probably 12. Um, my my obsession with the Brazilian Portuguese dialect came from the music. I fell in love with the music, and I love the genre bossa nova, a jazzy acoustic genre of Brazilian music, and a lot of like maracatu. I love. It's a Brazilian form of like upbeat drum music. Um, and yeah, so I fell in love with Brazilian music. I started listening to just a bunch of it because I've always been very musically inclined. Um, you know how like your favorite producers like Kanye and Pharrell and like Jay-Z will take samples from other cultures and like that's kind of I feel like that would be a really cool alley to pursue down the road because I love just different types of music. I'm a music almost encyclopedia. But so I started listening to Brazilian music and I wanted to learn what they were saying. And I dedicated about an hour a day for, man, it was probably 2 years until I got even remotely fluent in Portuguese. And by the time I started having conversations with native speakers and they started to like tell me like, oh, your Portuguese is good. Like, you should, hang out with my Brazilian friends. And that's why I started integrating with more Brazilian people. Um, and then I took Spanish in high school, and Spanish and Portuguese are very similar. And I tested out of, I didn't know Spanish that well, but I knew Portuguese pretty good. I tested out of Spanish just by having a simple conversation with the Spanish teacher. She was like, okay, like you're good. Like we're taking you to Spanish 3. So I did 3, 4, and 5. And actually 5, I had one of the top AP Spanish 5 scores in the nation because I shared my story about how I basically am a complete white boy, but I taught myself, um, how to speak Portuguese and Spanish and became fluent by the age of probably took me about 3.5 years of Portuguese and probably about 2.5 of Spanish.
Wow.
So yeah.
Amazing. You and Brandon should talk in Spanish to each other.
Oh, en serio, habla español.
Sí, yo viví en El Salvador por unos años.
Oh, salvadoreño.
Sí.
Ya he conocido muchas personas de El Salvador y bueno, la mayoría de la gente que viven para allá abajo, ellos son, pues, ella es buena gente, no me puedo
Sí,
quejar de nada de lo bueno que son estas personas salvadoreñas.
sí, los mejores de todo el mundo.
En serio, la pura neta, güey. But yeah, we were just talking about how nice Salvadorian people are. Really
That's
good
okay.
people.
I know you guys were talking about me.
We'll put the subtitles like, man, Sammy just.
Oh, say it ain't so, Sammy. Say it ain't so.
That's amazing. So yeah, so all the instruments, all the languages, but you were mentioning in there some of the music artists. Like who's your favorite music artist, or who's been the biggest inspiration for you?
Yeah, I would say so one of the main reasons why I started speaking Portuguese was this Brazilian artist by the name of Marcos Valle. He was a he was a bossa nova icon through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s up until the current day because he's kind of like he's gone with the wind in terms of music down in Brazil. And my favorite artist of all time, Marcos Valle, Brazilian composer, singer, songwriter, guitarist, and I hope to meet him one day. I need to go down to Brazil. I've never been to Brazil, and I have many wishes to travel.
Awesome.
So the time machine doesn't, you can't just like go to Brazil. It's not like a location machine, a portal, or
No, no. So
how that stuff works.
no, no. Enough about that hullabaloo. So basically, it transports me through time, but not
Not
space.
not
So
space. Got it.
I
Got it.
basically every time I time travel, I take my '57 Chevy, my Bel Air, and turquoise blue. I fly it at 57 miles an hour. As soon as I hit 57, poof, I'm driving on that same road. You know what? How long ago was that? 68 years ago? Yeah, something like that.
That's incredible. So you just come down the road, and then just like the buildings are just completely
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a delight. I wish I could take you boys, but I only accompany one at a time in time travel. Father Time told me so.
makes sense.
Yeah, so you could tell it to the judge.
Will do. Who in Banana Land inspires you the most?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I would say probably Sunshine Looters, definitely. In terms of being like just a really personable guy around the clubhouse and with the players, but on field probably Matt Wolf. I love Matt Wolf. I love what he does. Really cool dude. Huge fan of how he has kind of been an ambassador for pitching with trick pitches and whatnot. It sure is a marvel to see. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, definitely watching him on the mound is a sight to behold.
It's exactly what I remember. I had a conversation with Jesse where he was telling me about pitchers and what his main focus was, and he was saying that every time you turn on a TV, you want to the Bananas are trying to do something that nobody has ever seen before. Like if you just randomly go to a bar and you look up and you see the Bananas, like he wants pitchers to be like as out there or doing something crazy as possible. Like, and if you see Matt Wolf doing a cartwheel and throwing the ball from a 5 arm angle and a 5 o'clock arm angle and striking someone out, like that's must see TV. You see old Knuckles up there, you're like, what is this? Like, is it an old-timey baseball player?
Yeah.
Why is he throwing like that?
Yeah, I
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, that's something that I love about Banana Ball is, the trick pitches. I'm sure it's incredibly frustrating as a batter to, you go your entire life with, balks are not allowed. That's a kind of like a number one thing in baseball. You're not someone to do a trick pitch where you're
Yeah.
expecting the ball to come and it doesn't come, and like that's and then to play in Banana Ball where that can happen, and throwing the ball around before you pitch and stuff like that
Mhm.
must be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, it's definitely discombobulating. I never saw Dazzy Vance, Lefty Grove, Bob Fella doing no trick pitches on the mound. So yeah, no, it definitely takes a little to get used to. But Old Knuckles is a fast learning cat. They say you can't teach an old horse new tricks, but I ain't no old horse. I'm a young buck.
Of
Beautiful.
course. And obviously you growing up in the 1940s and 50s, Old Knuckles, Banana Boat didn't exist then. But looking
No.
back, were there any signs while you were growing up that you were going to be a good fit for Banana Ball?
Yeah, I guess I kind of realized that whenever I started playing all those instruments in the jazz clubs and sneaking in whenever I was a 10, 11-year-old with my little soprano saxophone, that I had a talent. I had something special going on up here. And I knew I could play ball if there was something that my great grandpappy Jimsby, if Jimsby bumper sticker Polydoroff left behind one thing, it was his instillment that I could play ball. He used to throw me bottle caps, and I'd hit him with broomsticks in the alleyways of Brooklyn, and boy, do I miss him. he was a friend of Rogers Hornsby, legendary Hall of Fame second baseman, one of the greatest there ever was. That's why I play second base. Old Rogers Hornsby.
Amazing. Yeah, no, it's definitely something to see of when you're growing up and being that good at baseball. I mean, it's a perfect fit for Banana Ball.
Absolutely, no doubt. I'm more than thrilled to be down in Banana Land. The man in the yellow hat, Jesse Cole, man, that boy, he's a fine businessman. He's a fine representation of a family man. He is what they had the American dream back in the 50s. Everybody wanted to do something a certain way, and they lived in the subdivisions and everything. Life was good, but it wasn't anything spectacular. What Jesse Cole has done, man, it's spectacular. He's made a new American dream. People that go to the Savannah Bananas game, they have fun. They leave the ballpark entertained. If you go to the Yankees game and you see Aaron Judge and he strikes out 3 times, you're not entertained. He came there to see Aaron Judge and maybe chew on some popcorn and peanuts. You're just sitting in the stands doing nothing. Ain't nobody coming up there in the upper deck signing your autograph. I remember one time I got my autograph. I was trying to get Mickey Mantle's autograph. He turned me down. He spit on my forehead and he said, "I ain't giving you my ex, kid. Get lost." I'll never forget that.
Man, how did you ever recover from that?
I went back home and I told my pops, and he played catch with me. He had a catch with me out in the yard. And for a second, I thought he was Mickey Mantle whenever it got dark. I envisioned that it was me and Mick having a catch. So I forgave him. I forgave the Mick because, growing up in Brooklyn, like, you was either a Brooklyn Bums fan or you rooted for the Brooklyn Dodgers or the Yanks, So, I was a Brooklyn Bums fan. I liked Ebenezer's. What was his name? I can't remember. I love Stinky O'Pinky. I love Comenius Leavenworth. Farnsworth. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those guys could play. They could really play. They didn't have no ice cream cake Evo shields in their back pocket. It was just regular stick and ball, dirty, grimy ball.
I love that. You talked about your experience with Jesse Cole. What was it like meeting him for the first time? And what have you learned from him?
Jesse Cole, the man in the yellow hat. He is a phenomenal human being, first and foremost. The way that he interacts with people on a day-to-day basis it's almost miraculous how he could pay attention to every single little detail and make people feel seen throughout the day with being such a busy guy. I think in terms of like global CEOs and people with these big ideas that realize them, you won't find a guy that's more genuine than Jesse Cole. There's no doubt about that in my mind. He really just has established something, an organization where nothing matters if the people aren't being treated, with the utmost respect and care. And the way that he takes care of the team and the staff and the players, and Miss Emily Cole is also the MVP. Those are the co-MVPs right there. And it's funny because usually people that start a business so that gets so big, they end up hiring people to do not necessarily their dirty work, but the texting people and making sure this is taken care of. But they really are on top of everything. They're very, very approachable, and then they always have time to listen to you and make you feel heard. Man, those people it's just an amazing family, and it's just an extension of their family, the entire organization.
Incredible. And I'm sure that with some of that, like when you were going to be on the visitors and some of that, like, can you take us into some of those like locker room conversations or when they were kind of training you on what Banana Ball was like how was that, like getting all these young baseball players into a room and saying, okay, here's the rules to Banana Ball. Here's why it's important to be fans first. Like, what was some of that experience like for you?
Yeah, so the integration of the visitors was really cool. We had meetings with Jesse and Viro and Gillum to kind of take a look into what the Bananas do on a grand scheme of things, and just an overlying scene of how they go about their business day to day. And they were really, really informative with everything. They're really supportive. There's a great staff of people that take care of us with travel and flights and whatnot, and per diem. And it's a really good system of just people that really made the visitors feel welcome. I hope there's many more people that get to come to Banana Land and feel that same reciprocation of everything that they give out too, because it seems like a lot of people have similar experiences where they come in from college baseball, and they or like a diamond in the rough, and the Bananas give them a platform to just be better people and the best version of themselves. So coming in as a visitor was absolutely life changing. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that's an awesome awesome story, awesome opportunity there. Uh, and playing with the visitors did get one win against the Party Animals, who are the best team in Banana Ball right now. Just wanted to throw that out there for everyone to keep in mind.
Yeah.
How was that experience, that win against the Party Animals?
It was awesome. Tensions flared at the end of the game, but it was super cool to take down a Titan like that. It was like David, hitting Goliath with the stone, or at least it felt. I think after 5 games, the visitors kind of proved that this was definitely a team to be reckoned with, and I think that we could make a name for ourselves as an actual team next year, even if we stayed all together. But I'm really excited to see what teams my different visitors friends get on, and where we're all placed should we be given that opportunity in 2026. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's an exciting time for sure with the league coming next year and the 2 new teams. So now there's going to be 6 of them. So yeah, definitely looking forward to. I think there's many of the visitors that will be on a team this year. They played very well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There was those cats were really cooking. They was cooking with something down there. I was just I was humbled to be a part of it.
So Brandon had mentioned before the song that you wrote for the visitors. Where did that idea come from? How did you get people on board? And yeah, what was that? I don't know. How was that? Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. The visitors. So one of my I've been making music videos for a little bit now. My first music video was "I Love My Horse," a parody country song about how 20 years ago my ex-wife turned into a horse. And no, it's real. It's real. It's a real story, based on true events, and basically how I remarried a girl, and she doesn't know that my horse is my wife, but I love her with all my life. And so shot a music video for that, and I really kind of understood. That was my first time seeing, live and creating a music video. And from that, I guess I developed a sort of obsession with making music videos. And whenever I made my Savannah Banana kind of tryout pitch, it was the most elaborate thing that I've ever done. And I mentioned how for the Bananas, I would like to not only be a ball player, but like a force to be reckoned with on the creative side of things too. Like I knew I wanted to come in on the visitors and make a music video immediately, and that's exactly what I did. It was really cool. I showed up, and everyone I showed up to our first team meeting, and I went and I was in character the entire night. So like our it was all of us sitting in Savannah on the patio deck, and we were all, everyone was just dressed casually, wearing stuff that they could maybe even throw a bullpen in, some of them. And I show up in a full zoot suit, a striped cream and blue pinstripe zoot suit with a Chicano fedora. And I'll have to send you guys a picture
That'd be great.
to show on the screen. But I show up and everyone had seen me on social media, but this was everyone's first time meeting me. I had never met anybody. And I was also a late addition to the visitors. I tried out 7 days before the visitors got down to Savannah at Kansas City. Yeah.
Wow.
Whenever I went to Kansas City, it all happened really fast. I struck out 3 dudes at the tryout, and I struck out a dude with a softball pitch. And I hit a backside double off the wall, and I was limping like a grandpa into second base. I played all my instruments on the mound. My BP was absolutely hilarious. I was doing a bunch of old-timey stances and impressions, and I was just cranking balls like Babe Ruth in the batting cage at the Kansas City Royals facility. And then whenever we went on the game, absolutely killed the tryout, like I just said. So a couple days passed, and I sent an email of like an old-timey letter, and it said "much obliged" in cursive at the top. And I wrote a letter to Barry Eldridge, the director of recruiting for the Bananas. He runs a lot of the operations, and he called me and he was like, let's get you down here. Like, are you wanting to, to pursue this instead of college? Like, he's like, we can't make any guarantees, but we'd love to have you. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna burn my college eligibility, and boom, I just cut it like a piece of paper. So yeah, the visiting team heard around the nation. I came in, did the music video, and I got Coach Gillum's videographer Caleb Kuiken, or Kuiken. I don't know how you say his last name, but he's a fantastic photographer, videographer, and he was practicing with us for a couple days while the Bananas were on the road. And I was like, "Hey, can you film this music video for us?" So I had everyone out over to my Airbnb in Savannah, and we all did. I had my recording stuff with me right now. I'm sitting at my portable recording studio, and everyone recorded their individual lines. So it was like, what better way for the fans to get to know who the visitors are than an individual player intro. So everyone loved it, and it was very well received. Jesse Cole was a huge fan, and I'm very grateful that they used it for like the YouTube streaming, and it was a big success. It's something that we can look back on in 70 years with our great grandchildren and be like, oh, there's great grandpappy Jordan Brewer with his trident. You remember your olden days of Banana Ball before Banana Ball took over the world? They started creating banana bots.
Yep. Sorry, I want to take us back into there was something you said there, like that moment of like cutting up your college eligibility, walking away, like burning those bridges. Like, can you take us into some, like, were you stressed out at all with any of that?
No, not really at all. I'm definitely gonna use this for a clip later.
Yeah.
Whenever I cut my eligibility, whenever I burned my college eligibility, 3 years left of eligibility, I remember I visually remember seeing a quote in my head of once you know what you want to do with your life, you can't wait for it to start. And I knew exactly that this was my calling. But what organization, what job would let me play baseball and play instruments and sing and dance on the field and just be my authentic self. So it was a very easy decision for me. But I'm super blessed to be given that opportunity. I knew I was like the perfect person for the job. I remember I went on the Dumb Zone on YouTube and a podcast, and they were like, "So did you just create are you just a creative player of the Savannah Bananas?" Like, and I couldn't have said it any better myself. I just felt a calling here, and Banana Land has been such a blessing, and what they're doing there with the Savannah Bananas is awesome. It's a miracle.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. I would have been a little bit stressed out, but I love that, like a creative person myself, like hearing that it's like, yeah, you once you know what you want to do, like you got to do everything in your power to get there as
Yeah.
fast as you can.
Oh, 100%. I'm a huge advocate for that. Like, if I would have gone back to college for 3 years and stayed another 1 year at JUCO and then maybe gone to a D1 or who knows, maybe even get drafted down the road. One, minor league salary is just pooey nowadays. But yeah, I just think that I wouldn't have been able to share my talents and like have a platform of people that really get to know me. I would be too afraid to like post videos of me playing the flute if I'm a college baseball player, like, trying to get drafted and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just posting silly content. I remember one of the driving reasons why I wanted to get away from real baseball. Not that I didn't like Weatherford. I loved my year of college baseball. But I realized that if I wanted to make a TikTok, I would look around my locker room and be like, okay, there's maybe 2 guys in here that would like make a TikTok with me. But now on the visitors, there is 0 guys that wouldn't make a TikTok with me.
Yeah.
Like everyone is in this. Everyone has the same like goals, the same visions. Even the guys that are a little bit shy on the team and like that haven't come out of their shell, like on social media, like they still love being in content and like it's beautiful. It's everything I ever wanted as a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, like making TikToks and Musical.lys. Because my TikTok's been around for a while. There's some hidden gems on my TikTok. I'll tell you this story really quick. People ask me where I got the shtick for Old Knuckles, because it all kind of came to me like 3 days before my Kansas City tryout. We lost in the Super Regionals, and then 3 days later, I had sent my video whenever we were still in the Super Regionals. So I had I was gonna do this like as soon as we were out, and or after Grand Junction. But I think this was like after we lost the last game, and I texted it to Barry Aldrich, my video, my Savannah Bananas. He was like, "This is awesome! Like, I love this. We need to see this. Like, can you come down to Kansas City in 3 days?" I was like, "I'm there. I'm there." Like, I didn't even think twice about it. The TikTok video, Old Knuckles didn't start whenever I decided to dress up in a 50s baseball uniform and use an old glove and an old bat. It actually started in a summer ball game in 2022. I was 16 years old. We were in Tomball, Texas. My coach, Brett Wellman, at the time, I asked him, I was like, "Hey, you think it'd be funny if I went out there and I pitched like I was like from the 40s, and it was like I have my old Met Sally, and I had like I have like 10 now, but my old Sally was my Papa Jimsby bumper sticker Polydoroff." Um, and he gave her to me whenever I was just a young pup. But yeah, so I did it. And it was hilarious. Like, I struck out two dudes. That clip went viral on TikTok. I think got like almost 200K views. And I was like, man, like, wouldn't that be cool if I could do that like all the time on the mound? And like, now look at me. Like, that was whenever I was 16 years old, going into my sophomore year of high school, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, look at you now. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what you said about if you're in college or minor league, there's not too many people that would want to make content with you. Not a lot of people that make it TikTok with you. With how Banana Ball is growing and more people making videos, making content themselves, do you think that there's gonna be some blend over into minor league players trying to uh get attention by making more content? Do you think that there's going to be an influence of Banana Ball on these other players, or do you think that Banana Ball is just gonna, the players that would want to do that would go to Banana Ball and they're separate?
That's interesting. Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that, man, I think minor leaguers eventually will want to, if they see that maybe they just played 2 seasons in low A and like they didn't do the best, like they might have one foot out the door just like I did. And I know that I would get tired of minor league pay. I would get tired of just that competitive atmosphere where nobody really cares about you, like as a not necessarily as a teammate, but like they're not hoping for everyone's preying on each other's downfall in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
You want to move up. You don't really care what the guy above you, like if he's failing. You want that to happen. But in the Bananas, like we are all just so like good friends. Between all the teams, there really is no animosity. I mean, the Party Animals and the Bananas have a rivalry, but we all work for the same goal, and that's fans first and creating the best experiment or the best experience for the fans, and putting just a show out there. It's a baseball game, but I would say after seeing it live and performing in it, I mean, I was singing for 3,000 fans before the game. I was playing the flute in front of thousands of people in Louisville. And I was doing the MC. I called out the starting lineups, and my Old Knuckles batting first for the visitors, #1, Peyton Chatagnier. So I did a lot of things, and I got a little taste of show business and what it's like to be an entertainer and a performer. And I had really, really good mentors as well. AJ Kirsch and the young professor and Shark and Jesse Cole, like they're the best at it. There's a reason why the Savannah Bananas are the most entertaining team in sports.
Yeah, for sure. That's been a really interesting thing where we've interviewed players and hearing their experience in indie ball or in college, and the difference between that and now with Banana Ball. I read this book a few years ago called I think it's called Where Nobody Knows Your Name. It's forget who the author is, but he wrote for ESPN, but it's about minor league, and they tracked the different players and their experience in minor league, and trying to work their way up to the majors, and that and then yeah, interviewing players and their experience with that, and how uh how cutthroat it is, and it's just really cool to hear about how completely opposite Banana Land is. In
Yeah,
Banana Ball, everyone is encouraging each other, wants what's best for the sport in general, and with that meaning what's best for the individuals as well. So they're just supporting each other instead of, trying to climb a ladder and push other people down.
100%. Yeah, no, that's money. There's going to be a lot of guys that jump ship, and I'll tell you this, the amount of people that are going to come into Banana Ball with really cool characters and really cool abilities is going to be it's going to be fantastic to watch in the next coming years, because I think the visitors this year were composed from Barry, of like, I think maybe six guys went to a tryout. The rest were handpicked by Barry, and he did a
Really?
fabulous job.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
That's incredible.
yeah, he just used his resources and went around finding out like how good of people they were, how good of ball players, like, and he knows exactly what to look for. Like I've talked to so many guys in the organization that have been like, oh yeah, they liked me because of my walk numbers. Like I had no walks my senior year of college, and it's funny that a lot of the visitors were the same, like very like high strike throwers, high percentage strike throwers. The batters didn't strike out much in college, um, and you got guys that can entertain throughout the organization. I love seeing all the people that like the Texas tailgaters are just every time I'm hanging out with them, like it's really refreshing to see baseball players that also grew up having these extra hobbies, like all the guys that are in the band. I think what Jimmy Strings does is absolutely, it's just really really cool, balancing being a violinist and playing fiddle bluegrass for a team that he pitches on. It's just really really cool. So there's going to be a lot of players that come in with really cool things. I predict in the next 5 years there's going to be a guy that hits on a pogo stick.
Gosh, that sounds incredible.
Start
I was
practicing, Brandon.
I was talking to Jackson Olsen about that, and I was like, "There's going to be a guy who comes on a pogo stick." He's like, "No doubt, it's probably going to happen in like 2 or 3 years, because you got a unicycle and you've got stilts." Um, and there's not really many other modes of transportation that you can hit a ball on. But I'll tell you one thing. My plans for the future is to come in from the bullpen on one of those, those penny farthing bikes, the really big wheel on
Yeah.
the front that you ride, and like the little wheel on the back. Like a true 1910 elegant gentleman of high class.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I got really really cool plans and really cool ideas. Every day I have a lot of ideas that come through my brain of stuff that I want to do off the field and on the field, and I jot them down just like Jesse Cole.
Yeah. So going with the visitors, like, what was one of your favorite fans first moments that either you got to participate in or that you saw one of your teammates do? Like, that's something that's huge. So anything there that you got?
Yeah, the visitors did such a good job of being fans first. The amount of guys that really went out of their way to interact with individual families and kids, and also just be supportive of their fans on TikTok and Instagram was really impressive to see from a group of guys that some of them hadn't really dealt with social media or even having fans before. So it was really cool to see guys adapt and just become really really good ambassadors of the sport by doing that. I think one of my favorite fans first moments was there were two people that tasked me with taking taking disposable cameras throughout the field, and I look forward to doing that so much more in the future, because I absolutely love like giving the fans a piece of like what the inside looks like from the dugout, and just us making silly faces in the clubhouse. And I really love doing that, because the people, the look of the fans whenever I give the camera back and it's filled up with photos is just really cool.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
So yeah, no, I'm grateful for on my old Knuckles fans. I gotta find a nickname for my fandom. But
Knuckleheads. That's
yeah, the knuckleheads.
Little
Yeah,
knuckleheads.
that's money. But yeah, no, the people that I love the people that love my character so much. I think I would love the people that loved my character even if I didn't play my character, just because all of them are like my fans are like baseball purists that really appreciate what I'm doing to bring back vintage baseball. I remember I talked to a guy that I was there with one of his friends in Louisville, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not a big banana ball fan. I don't really get the hullabaloo and whatnot, but I like the vintage baseball thing. It reminds me of going to the ballpark and seeing an old knuckleballer with his handlebar mustache and whatnot." And it really means a lot whenever I kind of realized that that was another big reason of me leaving college to join Banana Ball was um, I knew that if someone else thought of this idea and they entered Banana Ball in those 3 years that I would have been in college, I would have absolutely I would have just flipped out.
Yeah.
But that's why I knew I was the perfect person for this role, and I genuinely love what I do with the old knuckle shtick and the character and the persona. I don't think there's a better fit for it with the 50s, 60s, 70s music in my wardrobe as well. How I'm always in a suit.
You have anything else?
Well, we're just glad that you took that risk, and it's been really entertaining. And yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk with us. And yeah, is there anything else that you want to share with Banana Ball fans? Anything you're excited for in the future, or anything else?
Um, I'm just super grateful to really just be to finally be noticed as a content creator and to have people that really admire my work. I think down the road, with all the avenues that I go down with my content and stuff on the field, there's going to be more people that really get the vision of who I am, and even just that's why I enjoy just sharing my story, because I'm still kind of new to content creation and having a platform. But I'm really appreciative for everybody that's out there that really just likes my stuff and knows what I'm trying to do for Banana Ball, but not only, everything vintage baseball, being a renaissance man. I encourage people to try as many things as they can, and to dedicate themselves. It was extremely hard learning to play all those instruments and learning languages, and I just encourage everyone to just go out and be themselves. It's a free world, and you're free to do exactly whatever you want and to be whoever you want. And there's beauty in going out and trying different things. So I'm a product of that, and I just yeah, I love being alive. It's great.
That's awesome. Thank you. If there's anything we've learned from starting this podcast is that you can just do stuff, like
Yeah.
like all of a sudden we're interviewing Banana Ball players, which I didn't think we would be doing, a couple months ago. So it's
Yeah.
been, yeah, it's cool. So yeah, thank you. And where can people find your work?
So my streaming for all my music is at Fisher Polydoroff, FisherPolydoroff. I know it's very long. I have a weird first name and a weird last name, so go me. I mean, just even more unique.
Yep.
Um, you can find me on Instagram at Fisher Polydoroff and TikTok Fisher Polydoroff as well. Oldies Fish, my TikTok page with almost 30,000 followers and over 5 million views, where I post 50s, 60s, and 70s lip syncs and my singing at retirement homes. That is where I'm at. That is where I'm at. I love what I do for the the oldies community.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll put all those links in the description below. So if you're watching it, you can find all of those down there to follow Old Knuckles and see where he goes from here.
Oh boy, that'd be swell. That'd be perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. You guys are the best. I admire what you guys do for Banana Ball. Given these players, there's so many guys that are hesitant to make videos about sharing their story, and where there's definitely I could see you guys being the next Biko and Josh, in the future. You guys definitely resemble them in a sense. Very very good tonality and you seem like gentlemen of high class. I would say that from Old Knuckles. That is a dearest compliment.
We try.
Thank you.
Yeah. And coming from Old Knuckles, it
Absolutely.
means a lot.
Absolutely, old sport. You betcha by golly, wow. Alrighty, gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yep.
I really appreciate it. Much obliged.